emergency response.
We could be deployed anywhere in the province.
Volunteers needed for disaster relief. Windsor's Waterfront.
There's so much to see in Windsor. Yeah, Windsor has a lot of potential.
Has the city's gem reached its full potential? And campaign kickoff.
This outpatient program is really a game-changing opportunity for people who have come through perhaps catastrophic events.
Expanding and enhancing Hotel de Grace healthcare.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us either on television or on AM 800. The months-long roller coaster trade war is down to the wire again, and there's no sign we're getting closer to a deal. CTV's Jeremy Sharon is in Ottawa with the latest on the negotiations.
U.S. President Donald Trump and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum announced today a 90-day extension to negotiate a new deal on tariffs. Canada doesn't have a deal yet, and there is no indication so far we'll get the same extension.
I believe we're reaching a great agreement because it remains as is for now.
A similar agreement would, of course, help Canada, though. Experts have said the Carney government shouldn't be rushing to get a deal done, as the CUSMA deal already in place gives Canada a better starting point than most. And today, a sign of encouragement for Canada's aluminum sector. In the wake of Ford Motor Company reporting a substantial hit from tariffs, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC today that Ford relies heavily on aluminum, and Washington will take that into account at the negotiating table.
I believe that the Ford, F-150, 250, their big truck series is made out of aluminum instead of steel, which is different than other cars. So I think maybe the aluminum tariffs have hit them harder. We will be negotiating with Canada on those.
As it stands, Canada faces an increased tariff of 35% on goods not covered under CUSMA as of tomorrow. Now, most countries that have so far landed a tariff deal with Trump have faced a baseline lower tariff of 15% across the board. Some experts have suggested if Canada can get the same, but only on non-CUSMA products, it would be seen as a win. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ontario Corps is recruiting new foot soldiers to help in an emergency disaster across the province. One of the 13 agencies that make up this army of volunteers is Habitat for Humanity Windsor Essex. And tonight they are hoping to recruit dozens of local people to pitch in when the chips are down. Michelle Molesky has the story.
I think Windsor leads the charge on a lot of things.
And now the Windsor Essex branch of Habitat for Humanity is leading the charge for Ontario Corps.
Hundreds of brave volunteers and professionals are going to be ready to serve as Ontario Corps, deployed from this very spot, the Provincial Emergency Operations Centre.
So we got funding from the government. A big part of it's for training and for recruitment of 50 volunteers and 6 team leads.
Habitat will train the volunteers to be ready to drop everything.
We could be deployed anywhere in the province.
Habitat CEO Fiona Coughlin says, for example, they might be tasked with sandbagging homes from floodwaters or saving them from the inside.
There was a water emergency at a northern community in Fort Hope, and one of the jobs at that time was simply pouring warm water into the toilets so that they didn't freeze over.
The local Habitat is also getting funding for a transport vehicle.
So we'd be able to transport volunteers, generators, pump equipment, fans.
When the snowstorm pummeled Gravenhurst this past winter, Ontario Corps volunteers provided more than 6,000 hours of support. Coughlin anticipates Windsorites will be ready to respond by November 1st.
We need people who are ready to dig in and help, ready to roll up their sleeves and pitch in, which is pretty much a regular Habitat volunteer.
In Windsor, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
A recruitment event is on now, ending at 8 o'clock tonight at the Restore on Edinburgh Street. If you are still interested, you can go to our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca, for a link on how to join the Ontario Corps and volunteer. A tentative deal has been reached for Windsor hotel workers. Approximately 40 people who work in guest services, housekeeping and maintenance at Best Western Plus have been on strike since June 1st. Unifor Local 195 President Emile Nabout told AM 800 News a ratification vote will be held Friday at 10 a.m. at the Union Hall. CTV News has reached out to Ironwood, the management company that operates the hotel on Riverside Drive. The clock is winding down on voting by Canada Post workers.
It's a direct assault on our union's right to represent our members and our collective bargaining rights.
Tish Glenn, president of Local 630, continues to encourage her members to reject Canada Post's final offer. Voting ends tomorrow at 5 o'clock on the Crown Corporation's forced vote. There are more than 500 local postal workers. Glenn rejects the opinion that Canada Post is an outdated service.
For some people, especially folks that, can't get out of their homes, they look forward to seeing a postal worker because sometimes that's the only interaction through the day that they have is us.
Chatham-Kent is responding to this week's court decision in the Rhonda Jubenville case and confirming what's happening next. Legal Director Dave Taylor says a new report is coming from the Integrity Commissioner, and Council will have to vote again on whether Jubenville should face any penalty. This comes after a judge tossed her 90-day suspension for comments made on social media, calling part of the original findings unreasonable. The municipality says it's now reviewing the ruling with outside legal counsel, and updates are still to come. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining us now for a first look at the weather tonight. Gary.
Wet weather to start today, and we were in some cooler air. You may have noticed temperatures not in the 30s, feeling like the 40s. Great to start, but then we got into some sunshine late in the afternoon. Still, the air quality is poor. There is an air quality alert, and it's due to those wildfires. This cold front continues to push the active weather further to our east. Meanwhile, we'll see a clearing for tomorrow, sunny and still cool. In fact, below seasonal, perhaps for the next 2 days straight as we head towards the long weekend. I'll break down what you need to know, how that's all shaping up just ahead.
In preparation for a full ramp up of Next Star production, the city has inked a deal with Transit Windsor.
Approval of this agreement ensures that we'll be able to provide direct, nearly door-to-door service to those workers.
A city committee has approved a deal to allow Transit Windsor to lease some space for a bus stop on the Next Star battery plant grounds. It will cost Windsor $1 plus HST per year for 3 years. If successful, the city can review a 10-year lease after that. Next Star has some preliminary numbers for the number of potential riders, but they won't know for sure until the factory goes to full production sometime later this year. The agreement is the first step towards upgrading services on the city's east end.
There will be the full construction of a bus bay and a turnaround loop that'll happen later on this year, and that'll be able to for us to be able to achieve our intended service target for the Twin Oaks Industrial Park.
Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare is expanding its campus and has kicked off a campaign to fund the new facility. CTV's Ricardo Veneza joins us more on that tonight. Good evening, Ricardo.
Yeah, Stephanie, thank you. Like the sign says behind me here, it's coming soon. And you can see here, construction is well underway as the hospital builds out a multi-million-dollar addition to its campus focused on its rehabilitation suite of services. And it's doing it without any government funding attached to the project, with leaders here at the hospital instead looking to community and corporate donations.
Welcome to all of you who are here for the first time.
The new Imagine campaign, fundraising for a major transformation at Hotel Dieu Grace Healthcare in Windsor, got off to a big money start on Wednesday. The Toldo Foundation donating $1.5 million toward an $8.3 million project to expand the hospital's rehab wing.
This outpatient program is really a game-changing opportunity for people who have come through perhaps catastrophic events.
The newly named Toldo Outpatient Rehabilitation Center is well under construction and will support over 15,000 patient visits the program sees every year, with new features like exercise equipment, walking track, direct patient drop-off, therapy rooms, and even a simulated kitchen and bathroom to help patients restore their motor movements and confidence at home. Something hospital head Bill Morris says is part of the core promise of Hotel Dieu, addressing rehabilitation and mental health.
This is the biggest and most significant rehab center of its kind in the region. Our catchment area will go as far as Chatham-Kent, but we have programs and services that bring people in from all over Ontario.
You always drive into this parking lot and you remember when. You know, even my husband and I had to take a little deep breath saying, whew, this was such a time. And people can't understand how important this outpatient center will be.
Paralympic champion Danielle Campo knows the rehab services all too well, receiving care for her surprise muscular dystrophy diagnosis at the hospital. Now chairing the campaign, she says the state-of-the-art center will mean the world to those on their own journey of recovery.
Everybody's journey is different, but the one thing is everybody just wants to be their best. It's that little extra push, that motivation you need on those tough days to say, you know what, I got this, and I'm going to this beautiful place to do this.
Mara is hopeful the doors to the center can open to provide services as soon as this fall.
The growth and demand for services is happening organically with an aging population, with more people seeking services, and the medical system being as busy as it is.
Now, this is a plan that's been in the works for many years now to grow out of outdated facilities here at the hospital. But of course, we had the pandemic. We had that cyber attack that affected hospitals in southern Ontario, which were cause for delay. But hospital officials are pointing to the way this project is being done as a sign of good things to come, saying that because they're building out an entirely new center and not renovating the former facility, that patient care should be minimally impacted. Stefanie.
Okay, Ricardo Vanessa, thank you for this update. Now, from railway lines to natural beauty, the waterfront is one of Windsor's most scenic spots, but some feel it hasn't reached its full potential just yet. CTV's Bob Belichico hit the shoreline to find out what changes people want to see. Bob.
Well, you know, Stefanie, there's no arguing. Our riverfront is a gem. Now, this trail system starting in Walkerville and going all the way to the Ambassador Bridge is highly used. A lot of people are on this trail daily. But talking to some of the people that do frequent this trail, there are things that could be improved upon and things that could be added to it as well.
This, to me, is our Niagara Falls.
The Windsor Riverfront is a draw for residents from near and far.
There's so much to see in Windsor. Yeah, Windsor has a lot of potential, I think, for sure.
Richard Burton enjoys visiting the city from London and riding the trail between the Ambassador Bridge and Walkerville, but like many, feels there could be more to offer visitors in that stretch.
I just think more places to stop and have a drink or, you know, something to eat, burgers places, stuff like that. You know, anything just to bring the people down. You know, see, it's so beautiful.
In fairness, there are places to stop for a beverage and a bite to eat, but options are limited to the stretch between Jeanette and McDougall. Now, Ronaldo Agostino asked the council question earlier this month, asking for a review on the food truck bylaws. The ultimate goal? To have some scattered in the downtown core and along the riverfront.
This would make a great space to have like a food truck village where maybe once or twice a week or maybe on weekends or maybe it's a fixed thing where people could come, different vendors from downtown could come and use pre-existing trucks that are here.
In other parts of the riverfront, Agostino says temporary solutions, possibly involving shipping containers, may work like he has seen in other cities.
Imagine having a shipping container that is, for example, a coffee shop, and then you have a couple shipping containers that are small market retailers that are available to anybody in the city to use.
Courtney Fisher has cycled the riverfront paths on both sides of the border, as have many others, and agrees there are improvements that could be made.
On the Detroit side, they have a lot of stations where if you run into trouble or you feel uncomfortable, you can call for help, like emergency buttons.
Fisher says attention to trail cleanliness is prevalent in Detroit, security is visible, and there's even a splash pad.
Even somewhere to grab water, or if you're walking your dog, more stops to have the dog water stations. Those are really helpful.
You could do games, you could do fun, you could do so many different things. A beach volleyball court down there would be fantastic.
A lot of good insight, a lot of good ideas, but Stefanie, it all starts with the food trucks. And Agostino says there's no timeline on administration's report, but once that comes out, we'll see where it goes from there. Back over to you.
Okay, sounds delicious, Bob Chico. Thank you for this. So for our question of the day, would you like to see more amenities at Windsor's Waterfront? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you know a youth who is struggling to find a summer job. More than 500 people responded. 53% of them say no. Canada intends to play a larger role in the Mid-East peace process, saying there's a lot our country can do to be more useful. That's still ahead. Later on Windsor's News Leader, how the local Chamber of Commerce is marking 150 years of business networking.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. The family of an Ontario man killed in Costa Rica while on vacation says he was shot during a home invasion. CTV's Allison Hurst reports.
Christopher Deere had just arrived in Costa Rica with his girlfriend when his family says he was killed a day later in a violent attempted robbery at their vacation rental.
Just coming out of a room and somebody shoots you because they're trying to rob you, and for what?
His family tells CTV News the 40-year-old was shot on July 11th near the coastal town of Tamarindo. A member of the Costa Rica Organism of Judiciary Investigation says in an email they cannot provide further details because the case is under investigation. Global Affairs says it is aware of the death of a Canadian citizen in Tamarindo, Costa Rica. We express our sincere condolences to the family and friends. Consular officials are in contact with local authorities to gather more information. Deere's brother says in a statement, Chris was a seeker, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the deeper questions of life. He was passionate about philosophy and applied his studies to nurturing his relationships with vast people from all walks of life that he was involved with. And that he was very close to his family and friends. He had a great sense of humor and a smile that would light up a room. We are all in shock that such a loving and generous soul lost his life in such a tragic and senseless way. Deere was a life coach who was able to work remotely and had plans to stay in Costa Rica for up to 6 months. He was also a blue belt in jiu-jitsu with aspirations to earn his black belt.
If he, still was with us, he would for sure get that rank. He had the strength and the determination to go there, and he told me one day I want to become a black belt. So that's why it was important.
Greg King was Deere's coach, and he honored him in a ceremony yesterday, awarding him that black belt posthumously. His family and peers were there, and his medals and green kimono.
The green kimono is very particular. And I was like, it's like the army green. And we're like, why do you wear this? He's like, I don't know. I just like it. I was like, well, okay, if you like it, then good. We like it too. So everybody yesterday was laughing about that because it was like, oh, that's the kimono that everybody knew him to wear.
His family wants answers and justice, saying we are hoping to have closure in this tragedy and waiting to see if the OIJ in Costa Rica is able to protect and bring justice to Canadians visiting Costa Rica. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
The Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in Brantford, Ontario, is appealing for help as it desperately tries to save a puppy fighting for his life. In a social media post, the animal welfare organization says 2 people spotted a lone dog walking in the middle of the road. When the rescuers stopped to help, the dog led them to nearby bushes where they found 2 additional dogs. The SPCA said one of the dogs barely stood up and is experiencing seizures. A fundraiser has been set up to help raise money for vet care. As we heard earlier, Donald Trump is linking Canada's pledge to recognize Palestinian statehood with the ongoing trade negotiations. Beyond the U.S. president's negative response, Canada's announcement yesterday has already received a range of reactions. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on the diplomatic move and the timing of that decision.
News Canada intends to recognize Palestinian statehood lands with hope on the streets of Gaza. This teacher thanks Canada and feels the world is beginning to wake up.
The level of human suffering in Gaza is intolerable, and it's rapidly deteriorating.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister posted this photo saying Canadian aid is beginning to enter Gaza and thanking Jordan for facilitating an airdrop. Fighting over what falls, Gazans say airdropped food is like a dog chasing a bone. The U.S.'s special envoy landed in Jerusalem, while the president mixed foreign policy and trade, posting in the middle of the night, Canada's decision will make it very hard for us to make a trade deal with them. Oh, apostrophe, Canada.
This is just Trump trying to use yet another tactic to put pressure on Canada. And I'm frankly very proud that the Prime Minister and his government made that decision, even though no doubt somebody was telling them that this could impact the trade negotiations.
I think the government is putting the cart before the horse here.
The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs is concerned the government didn't tie its conditions to the release of hostages or the immediate removal of Hamas, worried it will embolden the terrorist group.
Conceivably, we're going to have Canada recognize a Palestinian state where Gaza is still under the control of Hamas and innocent Israelis are still being held hostages in the terror dungeons of Gaza.
CJA says there is increased fear and concern in the Canadian Jewish community in the wake of the government's decision, fear of even more anti-Jewish hate and attacks. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Among the flurry of trade announcements this week, Donald Trump also signed an executive order that ends a tariff loophole, allowing low-cost goods to be imported into the U.S. duty-free. CTV Geneviève Beauchemin now on what exactly de minimis means and what it means for Canadian small businesses.
From her home studio in Montreal, Tamara Bavdag designs unique jewelry.
I work with vintage lace. I make mostly statement pieces.
Works of art, really, that her business, this ilk, ships around the globe, a third to addresses south of the border. Now, the U.S. is scrapping a provision that exempts goods shipped into the U.S., those valued at less than $800 American from duties or taxes. It's called the de minimis exemption. De minimis, from Latin, meaning lacking significance or importance, so minor as to merit disregard.
Is this part of your vocabulary like 6 months ago?
So the word wasn't until Trump started announcing tariffs.
Duties will be calculated based on the IEEPA tariff rate of the country of origin.
The impact of this move isn't clear to all business owners.
Really appreciate it. This is Tamara.
So we called in an expert, Samuel Roscoe from the University of British Columbia.
You know, your $100 shipment would be taxed and dutied at the same rate as a $2,000 shipment, right? So you're basically going to be paying whatever rate that is agreed on between Canada and the United States. I wish I could give you some more good news tomorrow, but unfortunately, I think Trump seems to be making it as difficult as possible to do business with U.S. customers at the moment.
I think that what I'm really worried about is this logistics, because I'm sending one package at a time to customers. And if I'm filling out a form every time, or I don't even know where I'm supposed to find this form. I don't know if my packages can get stuck.
I pretty much guarantee you there's going to be delays for shipments into the States as a direct result of this. I hope that the message gets across that we do need to support our local Canadian small and medium-sized businesses, and because otherwise you guys are going to really struggle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
A few answers, but still a lot of questions as to the real-life impact on Canadians. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Continuous economic uncertainty has put pressure on the Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce.
It is not all sunshine, butterflies, and rainbows. There is layoffs happening in many different sectors, most notably the manufacturing sector.
Despite hours to go before the tariff deadline, the Chamber is announcing plans on how they will celebrate its 150th anniversary. Several events are planned, including a networking session at the WFCU Center prior to watching a Spitfires game in October. An official birthday party at the Water's Edge Event Center will happen on March 27th, and a special Business Excellence Awards Gala in May. And if you are taking a stroll in Jackson Park, stop by this beautiful display. And always remember to buy local.
It's a time of uncertainty. It's a time of not knowing what's going to be coming next. And any time that we can spend our dollars and spend them locally, that's what we're encouraging to do. And this is the same message we've been saying for 150 years at the Chamber of Commerce, and we will continue for the next 150 years.
Canada's main stock index finished lower today with broad-based losses. In Toronto, the TSX fell 110 points. In New York, the Dow lost to 330. The Nasdaq dropped 7. The Canadian dollar is down almost a fifth of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $4 an ounce. Oil lost 74 cents a barrel. Hosting a family reunion, a golf tournament, a fundraiser, or festival. Well, EMS is now lending out AEDs in easy-to-carry backpacks.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. It's a beauty. Thanks to Dolores D for this floral image. A few raindrops there. Well, we've said goodbye to the rain for today. Sunshine is coming with, well, comfortable temperatures. Imagine that. The weather story next on CTV News Windsor.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app. From moment to moment, things change.
Mayday, mayday! We need more crews at this location.
CTVNewsWindsor.ca is Windsor's #1 source for online news. Watch every story from wherever you are the moment it happens. Plus exclusive content and must-see viewer video. Don't miss a moment. Windsor's leading online news source, CTVNewsWindsor.ca.
That was earlier today, rainy out there. Now the air quality not looking the best. Gary joins me again for an extended look.
The air quality is relatively poor in that moderate range on our AQI, the air quality index, because of the smoke, the fine particulate matter in the atmosphere settling to the surface, which we are breathing. Hence, the alert has been extended through tonight, possibly will be there for tomorrow. So take it easy. It is smoky out there, and you just have to look at the downtown core. You get a good sense of that haziness. 21 degrees, well below seasonal. The cold front that ushered in the showers late last night into this morning brought temperatures down significantly as we expected. We continue to be cool this hour and through the early stage of the evening. Instead of in the upper 20s, low 30s, we're in the low 20s, 22 degrees Celsius. That's 72 degrees Fahrenheit in Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, under cloudy, hazy, smoky conditions. It feels like 27 in Windsor, about 25 in Chatham, Kent, your humidex values. So those temperatures are what it feels like, much more hospitable. Warming up across the prairies, mid-20s, cooling off across the Great Lakes and much of Ontario and the Canadian Shield, moving east towards Quebec. There's a good chance we'll be in the lower double digits tonight. The winds have certainly helped to cool us off. That northerly and northeasterly wind, cooler air, and of course humidity has been held in check and reduced. We'll see gusts in the lower 30s through this evening and sustained perhaps through the overnight. So a bit breezy, but we welcome this cold front. Look at its push of the showers and thunderstorms to the eastern flank of the continent. Meanwhile, we'll be into a clearing. And the good news is we'll see sunshine for tomorrow. We'll extend that sunshine into the weekend. The long weekend looks sunny, fair, and beautiful with temperatures seasonal or slightly below. Seasonal means about 27.5 degrees Celsius. Take a look at our Siles Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast, calling for a sunny Friday, Saturday, mostly sunny for Sunday and holiday Monday. Sunshine continues Tuesday, increasing cloudiness for Wednesday and Thursday, a week from now, 26 and fair weather. That's a look at your weather.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
Health Canada has approved a new drug to treat multiple myeloma. As CTV's Pauline Chan reports, it takes a novel approach in attacking the cancer and offers patients more options.
When Marianne Tuomi was admitted to hospital during the pandemic with severe back pain, she was quickly tested for multiple myeloma. But she says some patients can go years without a correct diagnosis, so she credits Myeloma Canada with increasing awareness.
Information for doctors that when patients present themselves with back pain, long-term back pain, that to check this for a protein in the blood. That could be an indicator.
It's solely adults that are affected by myeloma, not children. And it does tend to be older adults.
Multiple myeloma is a cancer of the plasma cells. Marianne underwent an autologous stem cell transplant in 2021, but that doesn't get rid of 100% of the cancer.
It's like you have a big field of dandelions. And what the treatment does, it takes the field and it gives a weeding of all the dandelions, but there's still a few.
That's why new medications like Blenrep are so important.
So the drug both activates the patient's immune system against the cancer cell, also delivers the drug that helps kill this particular malignant cell. So it's a relatively novel mechanism in multiple myeloma.
Health Canada has just approved its use in combination with one of two other drugs. There are currently several thousand patients living with multiple myeloma in Canada, but with new drugs to improve survival, the hope is that number will grow. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Essex Windsor EMS is helping save lives before paramedics even arrive. They're now loaning out AEDs free of charge for events or gatherings. Each loaner kit includes a machine that gives clear voice and visual instructions, along with a naloxone kit for opioid overdoses. A person's chance of surviving cardiac arrest jumps to 90% if an AED is used in the first minute. That chance drops by 10% every minute afterwards. Up to 4 AED kits can be requested per event. Windsor's Emancipation Celebration Committee is in need of the public's help. The committee, in collaboration with the City of Windsor, is looking for stories and photos highlighting Emancipation Day history in Windsor. Emancipation Day marks the actual day in 1834 that the Slavery Abolition Act came into effect across the British Empire. It celebrates the strength and perseverance of Black communities across Canada. In the past, celebrations began with a large parade that started in Dieppe Gardens and made its way back to Jackson Park, ending at the original bandstand. Upwards of 250,000 spectators have attended. If you have stories or photos to share, go to our website for the submissions link. The committee plans to incorporate these stories and images as part of an overall design process for a monument.
We've been working with the committee to identify an appropriate location within Jackson Park that would be within the footprint of where the original band shell and grandstand was in Jackson Park. So it's a great location that now we're going to get the opportunity to hear all the great feedback from the community and all their stories that will help to guide and develop the actual monument.
Hannah, Canada has been making the headlines this past week.
Yes, in more ways than one. Katy Perry committed a bit of a Canadian faux pas on her date with Justin Trudeau.
Oh no, tune in to find out what, and we have a special announcement coming up.
Pure Country 89, Windsor's country music station. Pure access to the biggest stars and the hottest songs. Download the free iHeartRadio app to listen to Pure Country everywhere.
Summer McIntosh has won a third gold medal at the World Aquatics Championship in Singapore. And the Toronto native was just a fraction of a second away from setting a new world record. CTV's John Benavelli Rao reports.
Well, Summer McIntosh does it again, winning that third gold medal and almost getting a world record, off by 0.2 of a second. She was visibly frustrated by that, but a golden moment nonetheless, and her quest for 5 gold medals at the World Aquatics Championships continues. Here's what the 18-year-old had to say about her swim.
To see that I missed it by that little, and I know that I messed up the last about 15 meters of my race. I mean, overall, really happy with the time of the PB, but I didn't reach my goal tonight. But happy with the gold, happy with the win, and just gonna keep pushing forward.
Now, we were here this morning at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre with some of the young swimmers who gathered around an iPad to watch the race live. So many of them said they were in awe of McIntosh and inspired by what she's doing, attempting to match the record set by the legendary Michael Phelps, who's the only person to have won 5 individual gold medals at a world championship.
It's like crazy. She's like a literal machine. Pretty cool.
Based off of watching Summer and her reaction, I think she was frustrated that she was so close to the world record and didn't get it. But she just has that like hungry spirit, and it just motivates everyone around her.
She's bringing attention to everyone in Canada about the sport of swimming. That doesn't happen very often. And the people that are involved in the sport of swimming are like all in watching her and rooting for her.
Now, McIntosh, who's of course from Toronto, will next go for gold on Saturday in the 800-meter freestyle. That is a highly anticipated race because she'll go up against Katie Ledecky, who is the current world record holder in that event. And then on Sundays, she'll try again for gold in the 400-meter individual medley, an event she is favored to win. John Benavelli-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
Turning now to the weekly weather report with Hannah Witherby from our sister radio station, Virgin Radio, and our own Kate Otterbein. Kate, this is a very special segment for us.
Yes, this is our last weather report. Hannah is taking a year's maternity leave. Hannah, we wish you all the best on your time off, but you're not leaving yet, so let's jump right in here.
Yes, please.
So we are starting it off today with an appropriate topic, love in the air. This time it was in Montreal.
That's right. I am sure we have all seen these photos of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry, but the are they or aren't they dating saga continues. He was at her concert in Montreal last night, front row center, showing his support and singing along with the fans.
I wonder if he'll be in Detroit this weekend when she performs.
Oh, I have no idea. She is going to be there. She's going to be at Little Caesars Arena on Sunday, August 3rd. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the VIP section for our former PM.
And I hear Katie may have made a Canadian faux pas on their Monday night date night.
Yeah, clearly she still got a call back, but word on the street is that Katy Perry tried to order a Jack and Coke with Justin Trudeau in Montreal. She, of course, was politely told that we don't sell American alcohol products, so no Jack Daniels for her, and she got a Crown and Coke instead.
It probably tasted better. So we've got new music on the way from 2 other big stars as well.
Yeah, that's right. Demi Lovato has a new song coming out tomorrow. It's called Fast. And Grammy winner Chappell Roan is releasing a song tonight. It's called The Subway, and it might have a shout out to a Canadian province.
Well, this is a proud Canadian province, and here's a shout out to those turning our local roads into a river of chrome and leather this weekend.
That's right. It is the annual Hogs for Hospice ride. You can expect to hear the rumble all across the county, but especially around Leamington and Point Pelee, as thousands of motorcycles parade along the roads, raising money for hospice.
And once again, this is your last weather report for the next year, but don't worry, you have a replacement coming.
That's right. I am going to be back next August, but my incredible co-host, Johnny Parks, is going to be here filling in while I'm away, so you make sure he behaves.
We absolutely will. So we will be back next week, but we will have a new name and a new look. And that's your weather report. Thank you, Hannah.
Oh.
We will truly miss you, Hannah, but we cannot wait for Johnny to join our team. Thank you so much, ladies. Now, do you have thoughts or comments on a story or about Johnny joining our team? We want to hear from you. You can text us at 10400 or send us photos and videos as well.
I like you. Unscripted, unpredictable, and unapologetic. Wake up with Hannah and Johnny on 93.9 Virgin Radio.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Come walk or run at this year's Run for Rocky event on Saturday, August 9th during Windsor Essex Pride Fest weekend in support of local gay, straight alliances. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Kate Otterbein. And Kate, you have reaction from the point-in-time homelessness count.
That's right. Those numbers were presented to Council on Monday. The executive director of the Downtown Mission calls it shocking. The report shows 672 people are experiencing homelessness in Windsor, Essex, a dramatic rise from the 251 in 2021. The count included those in shelters, encampments, as well as transitional housing. The top reasons for losing their homes were financial hardship and unaffordable options. Rakshini Panaya Gulen says the mission is seeing increased demand. It shelters more people overnight and feeds about 80 people every day. Despite the growing need, donations have dropped due to economic pressures. City Council is now pushing for more government support and better data to understand why people lose housing. We've got those details and more online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we have some information for those wondering what will be open on Civic Holiday.
Don't forget, that is coming up on Monday. We have a written full outline of what to expect Monday in Windsor, Essex and Chatham-Kent. Remember, the local malls, most grocery stores and the beer store will be open. Government buildings such as post offices, banks, libraries and most LCBO locations will be closed. You can read the expected holiday hours online in more detail. And in our social spotlight tonight, this little boy was quite shocked to hear the voice of a man coming through his baby monitor.
What is your name?
It's Daddy, you silly goose.
That strange voice he heard, it was his dad. He was caught jumping on his bed, which led to this interaction. It's pretty cute once he fully connects the pieces, but I mean, who can blame him? If you can't see a face, sometimes it can be hard to tell who's speaking.
Yeah, cute kid. He was caught in the action, but I think he handled it pretty good. I remember my son was crying the first time that he had that interaction, so good for that little kid.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, thank you, Kate, and that's what's happening now. By storm when we return the furry challengers for the position of Bike Path Mayor.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
Tomorrow is Friday before a holiday-long weekend. So, Gary, we did get over that hump of rain, and it's improving temperatures and conditions.
Well, we'll see some sunshine. The temperatures will be more agreeable for most of us. Mid-20s, right? Humidity, a lot of that humidity has been displaced by this cold front, pushing it to our east. So we're now looking at 24 degrees tomorrow, sunny, high UV, of course, though, feeling like about 27, 28 instead of 35 plus. More sunshine for Saturday and a high of 26. Still mostly sunny Sunday and Monday, 28s apiece. And then Tuesday, 28, mostly sunny, 28. Passing showers possible on Wednesday, 26 a week from now. On Thursday, a mixture of sun and cloud. It looks grand weather-wise for the next several days.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Now an update to a political race in Somerville, Massachusetts that has taken the internet by storm. As we showed you last week, dozens of cats, yes, cats, are running for mayor of the community bike path. Now some other species are entering the race. Brianna Borgi has more on the cat-to-dates running for the title.
It's become a very fierce competition.
The claws are out in Somerville as the feline race for Bike Path Mayor gains national attention.
I've been sending updates to my mom and my aunt who live back in the Philly area. My aunt requested a mail-in ballot, actually.
Minerva's ominous crime sign dominating the comment section.
I think Minerva, the crime, has a really solid base. There's a lot of fans of Minerva.
But it seems Berry, widely regarded as the incumbent, is still the front runner among locals.
I'm a little partial to Barry because he has held a town hall in our garden a few months ago.
Berry kicked this whole race off, promising to make cats outside again. Then came Orange Cat.
Barry became mayor of Somerville without an election, and I thought that was baloney. Orange Cat stands for fair and free elections.
Now dozens of new candidates have entered the race.
I spent all day yesterday canvassing for domination.
Also on the ballot are a few dogs.
A dog can't be mayor of the bike path. That would be ridiculous.
Along with a parrot, guinea pig, snake, and tortoise.
I'm a big fan of Nagi the tortoise. I think his age and experience is good.
You know, diversity in a campaign is probably good. If they have a good platform, then go for it.
But being mayor isn't for everyone. Wazel is running for attorney general, while Whiskers is campaigning for chief of staff, tuxedo included, and the race isn't over yet. Online voting closes September 5th, and although cats may have 9 lives, there can only be one winner.
I think we'll end up with a great community path mayor.
A heated competition. Looking forward to those residents heading to the poll. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching. For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.